Hey, it's Adrian, and today I'm taking a look at this ergonomic split keyboard and ergonomic trackball mouse from ProtoArc, which is a company that focuses on computer peripherals geared towards ergonomics. I'm going to share my experience with you, and I'm going to let you know if it has really improved my workflow and if I really do notice a change using these type of ergonomic products. And before I get started, I just want to say a quick thank you to ProtoArc for sending these review samples out to me. The keyboard package contains a keyboard, of course, Type-C charging cable, wireless USB receiver, and manual. The mouse comes with the mouse unit, Type-C charging cable, again, wireless USB receiver, and a manual. Alright, let's take a look at the design of the keyboard, and right away I have to say that I'm such a huge fan of any type of keyboard that have a built-in wrist rest, or just any type of wrist rest that you can attach. Now this one is permanently fixtured here, it cannot be removed. But let's take a look at the back first. So at the back we have the power button, we have the wireless USB receiver that you can store here, and it's held just magnetically in place. And we have feet. So I've never seen 4 feet on a keyboard before. I've only ever seen these 2 top ones, but I guess you could just have everything elevated off your desk if you like. And that doesn't feel bad. I mean, it just feels different. But I think what I would prefer is just the 2 top ones. And yeah, this is much more up my alley. So you can see it is this split type of design, so the space bar is split in 2. At the top right is where you would switch devices. So the first one, again, reserved for wireless, and then the other 2 are for Bluetooth, same as with the mouse. So it follows that same type of design or functionality, where first is for wireless, the other 2 are for Bluetooth. But yeah, taking a look at it, so you have your numpad area here. Big fan of having this because I'm always working with a lot of numbers or data. And we also have a lock, so I guess you could just lock the computer if you're not going to use it. So I've cut the lights a bit, so let's cycle back through these. So that's the low setting, medium, and the brightest setting. Aside from the multi-connect buttons here and this lock button and this little multimedia button area here, there's no additional buttons to program shortcuts or quick launch apps. Overall, for the price, the build quality is pretty good to me. So you can see if I grab these and I just grab the ends here and I kind of twist in opposite directions, I'm not noticing much flexing to the frame. By the way, I forgot to point out, that's the Type-C charging port, because these do have a built-in rechargeable battery. The mouse design is pretty nice, and I am a fan of it. So you can see we have the matte plastic on the sides here and some kind of indentations here to add for grippiness, or if you have kind of sweaty palms. Now we have the ProtoArc logo here, and this top portion here is this kind of soft rubberized type of grippy material. At the bottom it's that same type of soft rubberized grip material. Because of that rubberized bottom here, there's a very minimal tendency for it to shift. What I will say though is right away you can have the mouse in this orientation, so completely flat, or you can adjust the mouse so that it's at a 20-degree angle. And this is a much more natural position for me because I'm coming from the Logitech Lift vertical mouse, and it puts your hand in this kind of handshake position, which is supposed to be better for ergonomics and for your wrist. So right away, yeah, at 20 degrees, this feels way more natural to me. And again, that's because I'm coming from this vertical mouse. If you're coming from, a traditional mouse where it's just flat and planted, having it flat may be better for you, but I like that it's easy to just quickly adjust that on the fly. And now you also have the on and off button there, and there's a little hole here which gains access to the trackball, and I believe that's so that you could push something through there and pop this out if you need to clean it. We have some buttons here to adjust lighting modes, so you can let me just click here, and you can see you can cycle through some different lighting modes here. Now we have access to the front and back button right in the top corner here, and of course you have your regular right and left click and a mouse wheel. Now this mouse wheel, it has a ratchet type of design, so as you advance it, there's hard stops while you're going through, and you have this like multi-device button here so that you can switch. Right now you see it says 1, and that's reserved for the wireless USB dongle. Now you can hold to 2 or 3, and that's going to put you into the Bluetooth devices. While it does look large on video and actually in person, my hand feels comfortable on it. It doesn't feel unmanageable. And you can see that my middle finger here, based on the position that I have it, it's extending. just a little past. So, you know, if you have maybe really longer fingers, that could be an issue for you, or you may have to use like a kind of claw type of positioning to use the mouse. Here's what the mouse sounds like when you're clicking. So the clicking definitely is on the quieter side and softer side. You may or may not appreciate that. That's the noise it makes. So, you know, this is perfectly suited for quiet work environments. You're not going to be bugging anyone with that. Most important for me, anytime I'm using a mouse, is I don't like it to have any type of rocking or unevenness due to the rubber feet. And since this is kind of like just one big area here, you know, it's quite planted and very stable. And I think I forgot to mention too that that's where the USB Type-C charging port goes, and because this also has a rechargeable battery. Here's a quick look at the specs for both the mouse and the keyboard. So both devices do allow you the ability to use them on 3 other devices, and it uses either the 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection or Bluetooth like I mentioned before. It has a 900 milliamp hour battery, which gives up to 90 days on a single charge. Now the mouse comes in at 181 grams or about 0.4 pounds, and it also uses Bluetooth Low Energy. The keyboard has backlit keys, but they are static lighting only and only in white. So it uses scissor key switches, which result in, you know, quieter clicking and or quieter typing and less resistance when you're typing, unlike what you would find on a mechanical keyboard. So the built-in battery is 1100 milliamp hours, and that's good for about 100 hours on a full charge. Both the mouse and keyboard can be connected by Type-C charging cable to your computer, so that while you're working you could top up the battery without any downtime. If I take the mouse, I'm gonna cycle to number 3 here. So it's on number 3, and then I'm just gonna go into my Bluetooth settings, and I'm gonna press and hold until the 3 starts flashing. It's flashing right now. And I'm just going to find the ProtoArc EM1, hit pair, and it is now paired. So I can go ahead and use, you can see the mouse here, and I'm just going to go over right here to the website, the ProtoArc site. And that works easily. Now, if I wanted to use the keyboard on here, same process. So, you know, so now I can use the mouse and keyboard on here. And I type Google. So you can see pairing is very easy with both of these. This top row is normally what I would use kind of every day on my computer, and you can see, so this keyboard is just a rectangle. There's no really thought in terms of ergonomics with this. And when you look at something like this, it looks, you know, way different, a bit foreign in terms of the design. And let me tell you, it does take a little bit of time to get used to the split keyboard. When you're used to having everything, you know, grouped this closely together, like with a normal keyboard, it takes a while to get used to these. Now, you can also see that some of these keys are, you know, different widths. So these ones are kind of like standard width. But the ones towards the center here, these are much wider. Also the spacebar, you know, it's split in 2 versus having a wide spacebar. But like with anything, you know, when I did use the lift vertical mouse, which is what I use most of the times, like day to day, this is the mouse I use the most. It did take a little bit of time to get used to it, but once I got used to it, you know, this actually feels kind of wrong, if I'm being honest. Like having my wrist in this position feels weird now, and this feels natural. Might sound strange, but that's actually how I feel about it. Being able to just have this angled like that, you can see, like I'm mentioning, that kind of natural handshake or hand wrist type of position, it makes it a much more enjoyable experience. This also took a bit of time to get used to, you know, navigating around like this, but it's like with anything I find, once you get the hang of it, you know, you really become adept at it, and really pretty good, you know, at whatever type of workflow you have once you get used to it. There's a little bit of plushness. It's not too crazy, but it's sufficiently padded to help, because when I'm typing on this and my wrist is resting on, you know, a table, you can see this area is even a little bit discolored because I would normally have all the weight positioned here as I'm typing, and having this has made a big difference. What about those of you who have an ergonomic mouse or a vertical mouse and you're considering something like this? I sometimes find myself coming off the mouse mat, or if I have a laptop here or something, I may hit the laptop because I'm just going hard at it. Now obviously you can adjust the DPI settings on here or the mouse pointer speed or acceleration, but I don't find myself going into the settings to change those type of things, so I just kind of live with it when I have those periods. But with something like this just stays in place, right? You have that rubberized grip like I mentioned, so all the movement is here. There's no chance I'm going to come off a mouse mat or a mouse pad or anything like that. If you like things as light as possible, even though this is a heavier mouse, this isn't going anywhere. So the weight of this becomes non-existent since you never have to move it around. You can see if I do a side view, like it's kind of flush, like where this little area is there is flush with the mouse. So it's always, rubbing on the desk, or, there's weight being applied there. So that's kind of like a pivot point and everything moves from there. That's usually how, I use the mouse. With this part here actually rests alongside here. So when I'm using this, I'm not making contact. You can see if I do a side view, all of the weight or pressure is being applied here. And this part here of my hand is elevated versus when you get into a mechanical keyboard, you know what you're getting into. There is, that resistance attached when you're typing. There is the clicking and clacking and things like that. With this, there's none of that. Now, for some people it's good and bad. Some people prefer this. They like that type of feedback that they get from the typing experience. And this is a much more passive type of experience. It's by no means bad. I mean, I've tried keyboards where you press and there's not a lot of travel distance and you're like, it's just not an enjoyable experience. There's enough of a travel distance. Let me see if I could show a little bit of that. But you can see here, that's decent travel distance. And even though I've been using this for a majority of the times, and once you get spoiled by a mechanical keyboard, it's hard to look at other type of keyboards, but this still offers, a pleasant typing experience. I would like to see some type of software where I can go into the program and remap these buttons. The DPI button here, it cycles through 1000 DPI, 1600 DPI, and 2400 DPI. But it would be nice if we could kind of go into software and make kind of micro adjustments. So if your main goal is ergonomics and you don't really care about, the look, the design, and all that other stuff, these definitely will help in terms of ergonomics. And again, if you're a casual user and you're only spending, say, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 hours a day on a computer, maybe you don't need to focus on ergonomics. I know I never really paid attention to it when I was younger and I was on the computer casually, but now that I'm kind of on the computer for a living and I'm spending, 8, 9, 10, sometimes in some days even 12 hours on a computer, just relying on this, it takes a toll at the end of the day. So just overall in terms of general use, editing, Photoshop, and just general browsing, these are really excellent for the price. All right, guys, so let me know if you have any questions about these ProtoArc keyboard or mouse, and let me know if I missed anything, or if you have any questions, just leave it down in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, if you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you're interested in trying out ProtoArc's products, I'm going to leave a discount code in the description down below.